Welcome to this installment of the Consultants Training Institute's Conversations with the Masters series. I'm Brian Jones, thrilled to be able to bring to you a conversation with Karen Kaseno, who has been a very long time member within the NACVA from the early 90s, helping to develop curriculum related to damage calculations, forensic accounting, matrimonial litigation. Karen, thank you so much for sitting down
Thank you.
in the hot seat. I was kidding a little bit earlier when I said I kind of feel like Bropra talking with you because we've been working together for so many years. 15 years I've been with NACVA, so easily that long, but thank you for the contributions that you've made over the years and sharing your knowledge with the profession.
You're welcome. I have enjoyed meeting so many good and professional people through NACVA, and I enjoy seeing participants that come back to classes year after year, and I see them at conference every year, so it's very gratifying to be part of this organization and to see the members that have been students growing through the years.
Yeah. So you got into the profession. You reside in California.
Yes, San Diego.
Great city, by the way.
America's finest city.
Lucky to live there. Tell us about how you made the choice to get into this profession and a little bit about your practice and what you do.
I was sort of unusual when I was younger. I always had an interest in the law as well as accounting. In fact, I used to, when I was a teenager, go to watch trials during the summer, and that was what I did in the afternoon. So
as a teenager?
As a teenager, I know it was very odd. I always thought I'd be an attorney, but went down the accounting path, and when I heard about this profession, gosh, over 27 years ago, I didn't know it existed, and it was a nice mix of the legal and the accounting side of things.
Okay. And so you're a CPA?
Yes, I am.
Where did you go to school? Graduate?
I graduated from Cal State Los Angeles in LA.
Okay. And from accounting to the areas where you practice now, what was your path to get into valuation and financial forensics?
I started out as an auditor at Deloitte Haskins & Sells, which was one of the big 8 firms, a very long time ago. And from there actually went directly into a litigation consulting firm that at the time only did business appraisals. And this was when very few firms and very few individuals actually did business appraisals. It was actually I remember it was 1989 because I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, and they were in the playoffs, and I started my job and had to go take a few weeks off for playoff time. But so I remember it was 1989, and that was even before NACVA, I believe.
Right. Yes.
And so it was a very new profession, and the firm only did business appraisals. Once I started at that firm, we found that there were so many other areas, forensic accounting related, that we could do for our existing clients, and so I started expanding the practice into more of what I do now, which is forensic accounting and fraud investigations and damage calculations and things like that.
Many years ago, when we conceptualized the Certified Forensic Financial Analyst credential, obviously part of that course is calculating damages, and you helped to create some of the initial courses in that program. I don't know if people realize that, but thank you for helping to establish that benchmark for the profession by the content that we're still offering in that program. But what are some of the things within calculating damages that you think are, I guess, dangerous territory for practitioners, that some of the basic concepts and ideas that you think they should be aware of, especially for the newbies that are looking to get into this area? What would you say are some of the...
I would say that definitely getting the training that you need to understand what it is we're doing, because you're not going to get the education to be able to be an expert witness in doing cases like calculating damages. You're not going to get that education in college, and you're not going to get it in a traditional CPA firm. You really have to. I would say to everyone that is thinking about getting into this profession is definitely get the training, because the calculations themselves are not that difficult conceptually. It's knowing the resources of research. It's knowing how to present the information on the stand, knowing what you're getting yourself into, the rules of court and what we're allowed to say and not allowed to say, and what we're allowed to do and not allowed to do. And that's all, information you've got to learn from extracurricular classes.
Okay.
And I don't mean to sound like a commercial, but
Sure.
that we offer at NACVA, because I see a lot of people out of college or CPAs that try to get into this profession and don't take the step of getting the extra education, and they don't do a very good job, and they don't last very long. They go back to their traditional practice because they didn't know what they were doing, and it's very dangerous because you've got to know what it is you're doing. Your calculations have to be consistent with what case law is and what precedents have been in your state as well as in federal cases. You need to know what the federal rules are, and so it's a very complicated sea to govern without some sort of roadmap, and you've got to get that roadmap someplace like NACVA.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the interesting thing about the courses that we teach. They are taught from a practitioner's perspective, from the individuals who are doing these types of engagements, so that real-world experience and sort of expectation for the folks coming into class is, that's not a theoretical lecture. They are really practical experiences that
Yes.
the instructors bring to these courses.
Yes, I think I try, and I know a lot of other instructors, and I've been in the development of courses for a long time, that we try very hard to have the hands-on approach and give people in case studies and things where they actually can learn how to do something, not just go to a class and listen to us talk about what we do and not how we do it. We really focus on the how to do these things, because as I was teaching a class today, we're at lunch for one of my classes, I was telling them, I hope that when you leave here today, you're not only enthusiastic about what it is we do, but that you have the tools and the skills to be able to start doing this. And that's really what we focus on.
So what are some of the things you were discussing today?
The class I'm teaching today is on forensic accounting and matrimonial cases, and a lot of what we do is compiling information in an understandable report or an understandable presentation of complex financial information that we as CPAs already know. This information, we already know how to understand it. What we don't ordinarily do in a different setting is present it in a way that is easy for a judge or for a client to understand. This is something like when there's people that have many different corporations and many different ways they earn income, is just to present to a court or to even your client, these are the different ways that this person generates income. And a lot of what we do is flow charts and timelines and pretty pictures of things that result in what a person is really making.
Okay.
Why is that important? Well, with most of you probably watching this, the younger generation coming up, and judges and juries like to see pictures. They like to see something simple. They don't like to see these long, complicated schedules that we used to do and big 30-page reports. They want something that's short and concise and
digestible,
understandable, and that's something that is a skill that we all as forensic accountants have to have. And we went over a lot in class this morning, is just how to really simplify things and put them into pictures and make it easily understandable in a presentable kind of way, which is tough. It's not easy, but something
it's
that
distilling a lot of complex thoughts and investigation, like you were saying, into discussing it to a judge or a jury. You've got to also think about the communication skills, not just the facts that you're presenting, but the skills and how you communicate that to come across as credible. And
exactly.
Those kinds of things.
Exactly. And part of the credible part is obviously the education and the background, but the experience, and then you get a lot of people, especially new people, that will say, well, how do I get the experience if I don't get the cases and I don't get the work to begin with, because they're looking for experienced people. And so that's some of what we talked about in the class today too, is getting your name out there to attorneys and offering to do document request lists for them. For instance, you've got a new case, you know, you need a document request list. Let me tailor one to what you're looking for. And then let me help you look at the documents when they come in. And I can give you some ideas on maybe some ways to approach this. And also to, going back to the theme of explaining complex issues to them in ways they can understand, I said go out and talk to attorneys or talk to judges or even do a little newsletter just explaining to them the different types of tax returns there are and what kind of businesses fill out which tax returns, and that a sole proprietorship is on a person's personal tax return. That's where you'd find that information. And so really simple stuff to us is complex to them, and if we explain it real simply and easily in, you know, a nice little email that has nice colors on it, or a newsletter or something like that that isn't even that hard to do, and pass it out to people. That's kind of your business card, and just something easy like that, explain something like that to them. Or when something new comes out that we know about as tax accountants that might affect marital dissolutions, changes in the innocent spouse provision or something like that, you know, a little notice out to the attorneys, a little email that just says, hey, I think you should know about this. The more contact you have with the attorneys, the better, and not just, hey, hire me, I'm Karen Kaseno, but with substance and just getting your name out there and you know, getting them to know that you have a specialty in this area, and pretty soon you'll get people to hire you, and then you'll get that experience too, as well as the background.
That is excellent advice. Wow, thank you. Yeah, that's one of the wonderful things that we've been able to express through this series of conversations is that you've lectured, you've done articles, you've taught many courses, and these kinds of things we're hoping will support the growth of our members and the other practitioners in the field.
And the other thing too that is unique, I think, about NACVA is that we as instructors, and I think other experienced members, we're all approachable. We're all busy and we have very vibrant practices, and I know, at least for me, and I think for most of us, that it's difficult sometimes for us to take phone calls from people, but emails, it's so easy. I have a lot of students that email me over the years and say, I have a quick question, what do I do about this, or is this something I should think about doing? And I think most of us, I know it's easy for me to just say, here's what I would recommend, or find affiliations with the people you take classes with or you go to conference with. I know a lot of our past participants have made friends with each other. They consult with each other. It's good to find people in other jurisdictions, other states, so you don't have somebody in your area that you'd ask questions to, but we can help each other out, you know, ask questions to, review reports. I think that's one of the strengths of NACVA and why I continue to teach and enjoy traveling and teaching people, because we all develop a camaraderie and we're always willing to help each other. And so I would encourage people to reach out to the instructors. Like I said, email is probably the best because we're all real busy and you're probably not going to get us on the phone for a half an hour, but we can answer a few questions, and I think that's real helpful when people are getting into the business.
So outside of having a vibrant and growing practice and keeping it that way, what are some of the things you enjoy doing in your time?
Well, I just took up, we were talking about this earlier, I just took up tennis this year. So I try to keep exercise into my schedule as much as I can, since I do work so much that the stuff I do after hours, I try to incorporate exercise. And I live in San Diego, and so the weather is conducive to that. So yes, I enjoy that, and I do agility with my dogs, and I watch my daughter, my champion daughter, do show jumping. She's an amazing equestrian, and bought a racehorse this year. So I keep pretty busy.
Tell us about your racehorse.
Well, it's something that I've always been interested in, and my daughter is going to be in the horse racing industry in some capacity, and so she and I bought an interest in a racehorse. And I can't say that it was the most lucrative experience, even though I knew it wasn't going to be. It's more of a hobby. But we bought a horse, and he won the first race, and then he came in third the second race, and then got claimed away from us. So we're horseless at this point in time, but maybe the new year we'll have a new one again. So.
Oh wow, well, Karen, thank you again so much. It's been a pleasure working with you all of these years.
Thank you.
You bring a lot of enthusiasm and fun to your classes, and passion for sharing your knowledge, and we appreciate that. I hope to have much more in the future.
You will, and I have enjoyed working with everyone at NACVA. Thank you.
You're welcome.